National Girls and Women's and Sports Day Clinic will start at 11:30, and we'll lead into, obviously, the game at 2 o'clock. For those of you who did miss it, we will be wearing special throwback black uniforms to the 93 era. So we've got Coach Gerlich for you, who wants to start us off.
So first off, Coach, do you have an injury status on Bailey?
Yes, she is game day decision, but she's doing a lot better. Has been in and out of some practices this week.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And so how have the players, more so like the young players, have been are they excited for the championship team to come in town? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, all of our kids are. I think they understand just how much we've been trying to teach them about Lady Raider tradition, and we've had so many former players come through our practices this year that we've asked them to speak to them on every time somebody comes in. We introduce them, we tell them who they are, we ask them to say a few words. And so I think they're excited to see everyone, as many people as possible, all in one place at one time, and especially to come and watch them and support them in trying to beat Baylor.
Speaking of Baylor, too, I mean, they lost 2 key players last year to the W. You know, they have a new team, per se, with, a lot of transfers, some freshmen, too. So on tape, what do they look like, and what's a couple of things you guys need to put a hold to right away?
Yeah, they're still Baylor good, and they do some really nice things. Their guards are exceptional, I think some of the best in the league. And they're just really quick and athletic, shoot the three a lot. Transition is good. Bickle in the middle is just kind of their glue, and she just brings a toughness to them. And they've got some freshmen that come in and rebound the basketball really well for them. So, we're going to have to slow them down in transition. We've got to make them uncomfortable, and we just can't let them get in a good rhythm. But we definitely will have to slow their 3-point shooting down.
What's your relationship like with Coach Nikki Collin?
Yeah, I mean, we're acquaintances, right? I mean, obviously I know her just from being in the league last year and being at some conferences with her and things like that.
And then also Tatum with a huge honor this week getting invited for the coaching thing. I guess with her wanting to be a coach after she graduates too, with this being her last year, how much of an honor is that for her and also for you too, who came back to her alma mater and is also coaching as well?
Yeah, we're excited for Tatum. She has made no bones about that she wants to coach when she grows up. And so that has certainly been her mission, and we're trying to help her accomplish that. She's going to be a great coach at that. So You Want to Be a Coach program that the WBCA has at the Final Four is a fantastic program. Kat actually went through it last year when she was at UTA, and it just gives them a great experience. And in fact, Sarah Constance, who's one of our GAs, also went through it, and that's where I visited with her about being a GA for us. So it opens a lot of doors for these kids and really shows them some unique experiences and get to hear some testimonials from some coaches as well. So I think Tatum's going to do a great job in it. I think she's really looking forward to it, and we're honored that she got chosen and that she'll be representing Texas Tech at it.
West Virginia last week was a very good defensive team going into Baylor, arguably the best defensive team in the entire conference. Does it help looking back on tape from last week, knowing what you can correct going up against 2 teams in a row that hang their hat on defense?
Yeah, no doubt. We didn't think that we had a very good offensive performance, clearly, and you can credit West Virginia for that for sure. But I do think that we shot ourselves in the foot a lot. I think we missed some open shots. I thought that we made some uncharacteristic turnovers. I think we had 6 offensive fouls in that game, which, obviously are turnovers for us. And so we can certainly correct some of those things. And we'll have to do that against Baylor. They just don't make many mistakes. They make it difficult for you to get easy shots, and they rebound the basketball well, so you don't get many extra opportunities. So when we do have the basketball, we're going to have to really be disciplined and execute and be very determined to score.
You kind of just touched upon it there. It's a team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but has still had a few upsets here and there this year. Have you noticed some common threads in those upsets of what teams were doing to be successful against the Bears?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were obviously defending. They were keeping them from having second chance opportunities, and they were just being aggressive on offense against them. I think you've got to. Baylor is not a team this year that when you get to the paint that you have to worry about 6'4", 6'5" that are in the league now, blocking your shot. It's more of can you get to the paint past their guards, and when you do, can you finish, and instead of maybe looking for an extra pass. So I think it's just the thing of we got to stick to our game plan. We've got to stick to what we do, and we've got to do it well. And we've got to be able to run a lot of kids at them and use our depth in that as well.
Kyla obviously got extended minutes too against West Virginia. Do you want her to keep having more minutes like that? And what have you seen that's maybe made her turn this corner this point of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want all the kids to get extra minutes, right? But I think that Kyla has just has a different mindset. You know, I don't think she was ready early in the season because it's a pretty big jump from high school to college, but I think that she's taken every opportunity that she's given, and she makes the most of it. And just the more minutes we give her, the more she takes from it, which I think is a great example for everybody on our team. And she helps us rebound the basketball a lot, and she also runs the floor, so it makes a defender have to run the floor as well, which I think can open up our guards a little bit, on the three-point line in transition, if they'll run as well. So she just brings some things to the table that are hard to coach. I mean, the rebounding is hard to coach. I mean, that's just a mindset and a pursuit of the basketball. The running the floor is a athletic skill set that she certainly has. So I'm just super proud of how strong she's being, how focused she's being. She's really trying to learn to scout and just doing everything she can to help our team win, and I thought you saw some great signs of that against Texas and even West Virginia.
You mentioned their guards a few times, specifically Sarah Andrews.
Yep.
What makes her so dangerous on offense?
Yeah, she's super skilled. I mean, she's extremely skilled. She's got some dog in her. She knows how to compete. But her three-point shot is super nice. I mean, she can really shoot it, and she can step back and shoot it. So you've got to pressure her up, but the thing about that is that she can really get downhill. She's in great control of her body, and she can dish it off too if you overhelp on her. So we're going to have to make it a long night for her. We're going to have to try to make her work for everything. We can't let her have easy looks at the basket, because she really is money when that happens. So she's definitely a matchup problem for us, but I think that our kids will rise up and be ready to defend her.
And the longest time between games for a while, how did y'all spend the little open date on Wednesday?
Yeah, the bye week I think really came at a pretty good time, just because of some injuries and trying to heal them up, giving our kids some rest. We've been playing obviously some intense and tough basketball over the past couple of weeks, and we've had some injuries and just some nagging injuries that our kids just need a little bit of rest time. So we gave their bodies some recovery time. We also spent the time shooting and just working on a few things that we feel like we needed to correct to make a good push this last part of the season.
And longtime Plainview coach Danny Wren passed away this week. Did you have any interactions with him in the girls basketball realm?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite people, actually. I'm super saddened to hear that he passed away. He's one of the nicest men that I think I've ever met, and I recruited obviously some of his girls. I coached Alicia Robertson when I was an assistant here, and so got to know him through that, watched him win state championships. Obviously, I was in his gym a ton when I was at West Texas A&M, because we recruited several of his players very heavily, and he was just always so uplifting and so encouraging, and always made me feel so welcomed to be in his gym or or just in his presence. And he would never feel it that way, but his whole entire family is really special, and we've definitely lost a legend in the coaching community and in West Texas for sure. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and especially his wife and daughter. And we just lost a great one, but man, he impacted the game so much, and me as well. I'll miss him dearly.
You're celebrating National Girls and Women in Sports Day. What does this day mean to you?
Yeah, National Girls and Women in Sports is a huge celebration, and it means a lot to me, because this is my livelihood. I mean, sports has been a part of my life since I was born. My dad was my high school coach, so I started going to basketball camps when I was in second and third grade. Everybody in our family is coaches in some form or fashion, but the fact that the door was open to me at such a young age, that girls can do anything and that they can absolutely play sports, was super important. And then just the way athletics and sports in general parallels to life is one of the reasons that I coach. It teaches so many life lessons, and it just impacts your world in so many different ways, whether it's personally, professionally, or even athletically. And I think it's a great time to celebrate that girls can play sports and that it's supported here, and especially in West Texas. I think West Texas supports women's sports and girls' sports and the high schools and the youth leagues and everything better than any place in the country. And I just want to, thank Lady Raider Nation, Red Raider Nation, all of West Texas, just for uplifting girls and giving them the opportunity to participate and to learn from sports.
So, Coach, when you're like with your teammates or your friends, what is your one favorite story that you talk about from the national championship?
From the 93 team? I think it's really is about when we came home and that the 40,000 people that were in the stands, because that's just West Texas. I mean, it's just an incredible story, and people really don't understand it until they see pictures. Like, I don't think they believe us. When we say 40,000, you know how that fish gets bigger every time you tell a fishing story, right? I mean, I think that's what people think we say until you see the pictures. And there were literally 40,000 people in the stands. So we talk about that. We talk about just our run through the tournament that year and just how close our team was. I mean, goodness gracious. And you talk about like a bunch of silly girls on the road. I mean, everybody had scare tactics that they used in the hotel room. Like, we had a great time off the court. Like, there was Cynthia Klinger and Noelle had masks, scary monster masks or whatever that they would put on and like hide in girls' showers and then jump out of the showers and scare the bejesus out of you, like when we're off the court in a hotel on the road or whatever. And just little things like that. Like, we were just silly girls having fun. But when we got on the court, man, we knew how to play and we played together. So I just think that whole run was so magical, and it's just times we would never forget.
Do you want your team to take some of that away from this weekend when they see you and your teammates get back together? You've talked about your culture and how close this team is. And when they see you guys, here 20, 30 years later still together, do you kind of hope that's their takeaway from this weekend?
Absolutely. That's exactly why we try to have these reunions. That's why we try to immerse our team within the reunion weekend, is so that they can see what they have to look forward to, and that how important these relationships are right now, and that they need to work on holding them together when they leave, because these are your sisters, and you go through so much, so many things you go through whenever you're on a team and you go through college athletics, and those moments and experiences bond you for life. And, you're going to need those sisters just like you needed them on the court. You're going to need them in your life down the road. And I think it's super important for them to see just how close we are, but also how close we become because of doing something really special on the court. I mean, it's bigger than basketball here, and that's my message always. And those relationships are always going to mean more than games that they win or lose. But when you can do something really special on the court and in a community and on a big stage, that loops you and binds you like no other. And that's really what I want to see this team do, and see. That's what I want this team to recognize from our 93 national championship team.
Coach, what was your reaction to seeing the announcement of the retro black jerseys? That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So I knew we had the jerseys, have not seen them on the girls, and certainly did not know that Noah was putting together that amazing reveal. Unfortunately, I was driving when I saw it come across, and so I was like, what is that? So I did kind of watch it while I was driving, which was not a good thing. So I was glad to get to a stoplight so I could really enjoy it, because my mouth literally dropped. I think it was fantastic. Gave me chills and goosebumps. I hope it inspires the girls, and I hope it inspires our fans to come out, wear black, and fill this place up.
My last question for me from the fans' perspective, everyone's coming who was there 30 years ago at the Jones, coming tomorrow. I guess to have that some more support from the community, from your perspective, what does that mean? And also, has there been something along the week that fans maybe have, hey, I remember this, I have your little player's card, like I still collected all these years later. I guess the support, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I know I think our marketing people have done a fantastic job of promoting it, and the more that we talk about it, and even our staff and our Red Raider Club and everybody that's helping us get all of the former Lady Raiders to come back, have done such a great job that it's really generated a lot of memories. It's generated a lot of excitement. Yes, I've had people bring me the national championship Coca-Cola bottles, like a case of them, with the Coke still in them. So the question is it still bubbly or is it flat, right? I've had people bring the scorecard 84-82 that they handed out for autographs when they brought us back at the night of the 40,000 people on the celebration. I mean, a whole stack of them. We've had somebody find a whole case of our playing cards, the national championship playing cards, which are super cool. Like, we have these super cool playing cards, and I have several. I have a couple of cases of them back home, but meaning just the little packets. This is a case of them, and so it's just fun to see people bring things out, and and to say, oh, I have the original T-shirt. We're like, why don't you wear that on Saturday? Just all the little things is just incredible, and the stories that you hear. And I still love hearing the stories about where they were when they watched the national championship game, if they weren't in Atlanta with us. But all of this is just fantastic, and I think it really celebrates Lady Raider tradition, which goes 30 years plus back. And that's what we're trying to generate again. That's what we're trying to get to again. Our kids certainly understand that. I think the Lady Raiders coming back, and even those that just can't get here but they wanted to. I've gotten so many messages, man, I wish I could be there. The excitement and just that thrill is just second to none, and it's so special, but it just affects so many more people than just the players. It affects the fans, it affects little girls, it affects older girls, it affects, men and women of all ages, and it's just a super fun time, and I hope that our current team can bring that same joy and that same excitement to our fans, and that's probably the biggest compliment that I've received this year is how much fun our girls are to watch, and that's distinctly a comment that I remember hearing when I played. So I think it's fantastic that this group is generating that type of interest.
Yeah, you just mentioned how you want to get back to having those gigantic crowds, and you guys have had more and more bigger crowds this year. Yeah. For someone that might be on the fence to coming to this game, what's your pitch to them to rally the troops and make sure that this game in particular, considering all the hype and fanfare about it, is jam-packed?
Yeah. Well, obviously we had a crowd against UT, and everybody enjoys beating UT. I mean, to me, Baylor's been in the league just as long, and Baylor is the newest or the most recent, right, like women's powerhouse that we haven't beaten in a very long time. And we have a great opportunity in front of us, but we need that help. We need that support. And I know our girls are going to play really hard. I know it's going to be a great environment. If they have a favorite Lady Raider of past, they need to come and meet them, watch them, see them get recognized at halftime. But just to catch that feel, I mean, we're going to be the hottest ticket in town on Saturday. So if you're not doing anything at 2 o'clock, people need to certainly come out.
And at the risk of asking a dumb question, I saw a couple people on social media with the uniform release say, oh, maybe Bryn should wear 21 for this game or going forward. Has that ever been something that you guys have talked about?
No, because Bryn is her own player, right? And she is making her own legacy. And I'm super proud of her for that. And mine's in the rafters. We're not bringing that baby down for her. Just kidding.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.